Welcome back, coin collectors and history fans. Today we're uncovering a shocking truth about the 1984 quarter dollar, a coin millions of people have spent without thinking, yet in rare condition can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Stay with me, because this video reveals why this ordinary-looking quarter can become an ultra-rare treasure, what makes collectors fight over it, and how you can spot one before it slips away. This is the kind of coin story that can turn pocket change into serious money. Let's get started. The 1964 Jefferson 5-cent nickel occupies a special and highly respected position in United States numismatics, particularly among collectors who focus on transitional-era coinage and condition rarities. Although it is not an official bicentennial issue, the 1964 Jefferson nickel has become symbolically linked to the end of America's classic silver coin era and the dramatic changes that followed in U.S. minting policy. Its importance lies not in commemorative intent, but in its extraordinary collector demand, survival rarity in high grades, and the exceptional prices commanded by top condition and error examples. Today, elite specimens of the 1964 nickel rank among the most valuable Jefferson nickels ever sold, making the coin a centerpiece for serious collectors and investors alike. Historically, the 1964 Jefferson nickel was struck during a period of intense economic pressure and public anxiety over coin shortages. Rising silver prices had caused widespread hoarding of dimes, quarters, and half-dollars, prompting the U.S. Mint to dramatically increase production of base metal coins, including the 5-cent piece. As a result, 1964 nickels were minted in enormous quantities at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with no mint mark used for Philadelphia issues. Despite the high mintage, this year represents the final moment before sweeping composition changes reshaped American coinage, lending the 1964 nickel a lasting historical significance tied to the close of a major monetary chapter. The design of the 1964 Jefferson nickel remains faithful to Felix Schlag's iconic 1938 concept, featuring Thomas Jefferson's left-facing portrait on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. Struck in a copper-nickel alloy composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, the coin measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter and weighs 5 grams. What sets the most valuable examples apart is not the design itself, but the exceptional sharpness of strike, blazing luster, and flawless surfaces found only in the finest surviving specimens. Full-step detail on Monticello, known as full steps FS, is particularly prized, as weak strikes plagued most 1964 issues. Rarity in the 1964 Jefferson nickel does not stem from low mintage, but rather from condition scarcity, which is one of the most powerful value drivers in modern numismatics. While billions were produced, only a tiny fraction survive today in mint state 67 or higher, especially with full steps designation. Additionally, select die varieties, double dies, repunched mint marks on Denver issues, and striking anomalies significantly elevate rarity. Proof issues from the Philadelphia Mint further add to the year's complexity, with deeply mirrored proof coins in perfect condition being exceptionally scarce. Condition plays a decisive role in determining market value, with even minor differences in surface preservation translating into dramatic price gaps. Circulated examples typically retain minimal premium, but uncirculated, sharply struck coins with no contact marks are exponentially more valuable. Coins certified by major grading services such as PCGS or NGC command the strongest prices, especially when accompanied by full steps attribution. The finest known examples are often locked into elite collections, rarely appearing on the open market. From a market perspective, the most valuable 1964 Jefferson nickels have achieved remarkable auction results. Standard mint state examples graded MS65 may sell for $20 to $60, while MS67 coins can exceed $1,000 to $2,500, depending on eye appeal. However, MS67 plus full steps examples have realized prices exceeding $10,000, and exceptional proof coins graded PR69 Deep Cameo have crossed the $4,000 to $6,000 range. Rare error coins or top population registry specimens may sell for even higher figures in competitive bidding environments. The sustained appreciation of the 1964 Jefferson nickel is driven by several factors: increasing interest in registry set collecting, declining availability of high-grade survivors, and growing recognition of condition rarity over raw mintage numbers. As collectors become more selective, demand continues to concentrate around the finest certified examples, reinforcing strong long-term value trends. This shift has transformed what was once viewed as a common coin into a high-stakes investment-grade collectible at the top end of the market. For collectors seeking to acquire a valuable 1964 Jefferson nickel, careful evaluation is essential. Priority should be given to certified coins with full steps designation, strong luster, and minimal surface abrasions. Storage in climate-controlled, inert holders is critical to preserving value, as nickel is susceptible to environmental damage. Acquisition should be made through reputable auction houses, established dealers, or well-vetted numismatic communities to ensure authenticity and fair market pricing. Collectors should also remain vigilant regarding altered coins and overgraded specimens, as the steep value curve at higher grades attracts misrepresentation. Studying population reports, auction archives, and strike diagnostics can help buyers identify genuinely rare examples. Patience is key, as top-tier 1964 Jefferson nickels appear infrequently, and competition among advanced collectors is often intense. In conclusion, the 1964 Jefferson 5-cent nickel stands as one of the most compelling examples of how condition rarity and historical timing can elevate a seemingly ordinary coin into an elite numismatic asset. Its connection to a pivotal economic era, combined with exceptional design quality and extreme scarcity in top grades, makes it a cornerstone of advanced Jefferson nickel collections. For both seasoned numismatists and strategic investors, the finest 1964 Jefferson nickels represent not only a tangible link to America's monetary past, but also a powerful symbol of enduring value and collector prestige. The 1971 Jefferson 5-cent nickel occupies a fascinating position in modern U.S. numismatics, especially among collectors who specialize in high-grade circulation strikes, transitional-era coinage, and ultra-rare era varieties. While not an official bicentennial issue, the 1971 nickel belongs to the early 1970s period that directly preceded America's 1976 bicentennial celebrations, making it part of a historically significant build-up era in U.S. coin production. What elevates this coin from a common 5-cent piece into the realm of serious collector interest is not the date alone, but the existence of exceptional mint state examples, rare strike characteristics, and dramatic minting errors that can push its value into the thousands of dollars. For numismatists, the 1971 Jefferson nickel represents a sleeper coin, ordinary at first glance, yet extraordinary under expert examination. Historically, the 1971 Jefferson nickel was produced during a time of economic uncertainty, rising inflation, and increasing public awareness of coin collecting as both a hobby and an investment. Minted primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, D mint mark, these nickels were struck in large numbers for everyday commerce. However, mass production often came at the expense of quality, which paradoxically increased the rarity of well-struck, pristine survivors. The Jefferson nickel series itself, introduced in 1938 to honor President Thomas Jefferson, had become a long-running staple of American coinage by 1971, and collectors today value coins from this era as representatives of a changing U.S. mint philosophy, prioritizing quantity over craftsmanship just before the bicentennial redesigns of the mid-1970s. From a design standpoint, the 1971 Jefferson nickel maintains the classic Felix Schlag portrait of Jefferson on the obverse, featuring a left-facing bust with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," followed by the date. The reverse depicts Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home, with crisp architectural lines that are notoriously difficult to strike fully. This is where value begins to separate ordinary examples from elite ones. Coins exhibiting strong steps on Monticello, full steps designation, are dramatically scarcer, as weak strikes and die wear often blurred these details. Composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, the coin weighs 5 grams and measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter, but it is the precision of the strike, not the metal, that defines its premium appeal. Rarity in the 1971 Jefferson nickel is almost entirely condition-based. While millions were minted, true gem examples graded MS67, MS68, or higher by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC are exceptionally rare. Even more elusive are coins with the coveted full steps, FS, designation, indicating at least 5 or 6 uninterrupted steps on Monticello. In addition, a small number of dramatic mint errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and lamination errors, have been documented and fiercely pursued by advanced collectors. These varieties transform a 5-cent coin into a legitimate 4- or 5-figure collectible. Market value for the 1971 Jefferson nickel varies widely depending on condition and variety. Circulated examples typically trade for face value or slightly above, but certified uncirculated coins begin to climb quickly. MS65 examples may sell for $20 to $40, while MS67 coins can command $300 to $800. The true heavyweights are MS-68 or MS-68 Plus coins, where auction prices have reached $3,000 to over $5,000, especially when paired with strong strike quality. Full steps examples significantly amplify value, often doubling or tripling prices at the same grade level. Rare mint errors, depending on severity and eye appeal, have sold for $1,000 to $10,000 in major auctions. The sustained demand for top-tier 1971 Jefferson nickels is driven by registry set competition and the growing appreciation for modern-era condition rarities. As more collectors attempt to build complete Jefferson nickel sets in the highest grades, the supply of elite specimens continues to shrink. Unlike older coins, where rarity is often tied to age, the scarcity here lies in survival quality, making each high-grade discovery increasingly important. Auction records over the past decade show steady appreciation, particularly for coins with exceptional strike quality and third-party certification. For collectors hoping to acquire a valuable 1971 Jefferson nickel, attention to detail is critical. Look for sharp lettering, clean fields, and especially the clarity of Monticello steps. Certification by PCGS or NGC is essential, as grade differences of even 1 point can mean thousands of dollars in value. Coins should be stored in climate-controlled environments using inert holders to prevent spotting or surface degradation. Savvy collectors often find the best opportunities through major auctions, estate sales, and established numismatic dealers rather than raw coin listings. It is also wise to approach rare claims cautiously. Not every 1971 nickel is valuable, and inflated online listings can mislead new collectors. True rarity is verified through population reports, auction histories, and expert grading. Learning to distinguish between ordinary uncirculated coins and genuinely elite examples is a skill developed over time, but one that pays significant dividends in this segment of the market. In conclusion, the 1971 Jefferson 5-cent nickel stands as a compelling example of how modern U.S. coinage can achieve extraordinary value under the right circumstances. While modest in face value, its historical placement before the bicentennial era, combined with the rarity of high-grade and error examples, gives it enduring appeal. For collectors who appreciate precision, condition rarity, and long-term potential, the finest 1971 Jefferson nickels represent not just a piece of American history, but a smart and respected numismatic investment. The 1973 Jefferson 5-cent nickel occupies a fascinating and sometimes misunderstood place in U.S. numismatics. While it is often casually linked by collectors to the broader bicentennial era of the 1970s, a decade charged with renewed interest in American history, it was not a special bicentennial design itself. What makes the 1973 Jefferson nickel truly compelling, and in some cases extremely valuable, is not commemorative artwork but condition rarity, elite strike quality, and scarce error or variety examples. High-grade survivors, especially those certified by top grading services, have become highly sought after, pushing prices far beyond face value and placing the finest known pieces among the most expensive modern Jefferson nickels. The 1973 Jefferson nickel was minted during a turbulent economic period in the United States marked by inflation, the end of the Bretton Woods system, and the early stages of the energy crisis. Produced at the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, D, the coin continued the long-running Jefferson nickel series first introduced in 1938. By the early 1970s, public interest in coin collecting was rising again, fueled by anticipation of the upcoming 1976 bicentennial celebrations. Although the 1973 nickel did not commemorate a specific event, it belongs to this historically significant transitional era, making pristine examples especially desirable to collectors who focus on 20th-century U.S. coinage. The obverse of the 1973 Jefferson nickel features Felix Schlag's classic left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, a design admired for its balance of realism and dignity. The reverse depicts Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, rendered with clean neoclassical symmetry. The coin is composed of a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel, weighs 5 grams, and measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter. While the design itself is standard, what elevates certain 1973 nickels is the sharpness of detail, particularly the steps of Monticello, which are notoriously difficult to strike fully and cleanly. In circulated condition, most 1973 nickels are common and inexpensive. However, in gem mint state grades, especially MS-67 and higher, the coin becomes a completely different story. The most coveted examples exhibit blazing original luster, flawless fields, and razor-sharp design elements. Collectors pay particular attention to strike quality, surface preservation, and eye appeal. A fully struck Jefferson portrait paired with crisp architectural detail on Monticello transforms an otherwise ordinary nickel into a premium collectible worthy of registry set competition. The primary driver of rarity for the 1973 Jefferson nickel is the elusive full steps, FS, designation. To earn this label, the steps at the base of Monticello must be uninterrupted and sharply defined, usually 5 or 6 complete steps. Weak strikes, worn dies, and heavy bag marks eliminated most coins from qualifying. As a result, true full steps examples, especially from the Denver Mint, are scarce. This conditional rarity has created intense demand, as advanced collectors race to secure top population coins for their sets. Beyond strike quality, certain era coins from 1973 add another layer of desirability. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double dies, and lamination errors are known, though genuinely dramatic errors are rare. When authenticated and certified, such pieces can command substantial premiums. While there is no officially recognized major double die variety comparable to some earlier Jefferson nickels, even minor anomalies can significantly increase value if the coin is visually striking and well preserved. Market value for the 1973 Jefferson nickel varies dramatically by grade. Circulated examples typically trade for face value or slightly above. Uncirculated pieces in MS-65 may range from $10 to $30. However, certified MS-67 coins can reach $500 to $1,500, depending on eye appeal and population data. The most expensive examples, MS-67 Plus or MS-68 with full steps, have realized several $1,000s at auction, with top-tier registry coins occasionally approaching or exceeding $5,000. These prices reflect intense competition among elite collectors rather than bullion or commemorative value. Several forces drive the strong market for high-end 1973 nickels. First is the popularity of Jefferson nickel registry sets, where condition and designations matter enormously. Second is the limited surviving population of top-grade full steps examples, especially those with exceptional luster and clean surfaces. Finally, the coin's placement within the historically charged 1970s, leading into America's bicentennial, adds contextual appeal, even without an explicit commemorative design. Collectors seeking a valuable 1973 Jefferson nickel should focus on certified examples from reputable grading services such as PCGS or NGC. Always verify the full steps designation and examine population reports to understand true scarcity. Proper storage is essential. Inert holders, stable temperature, and low humidity help preserve surfaces and luster. For acquisition, major auctions, trusted dealers, and established numismatic communities offer the safest avenues, especially for high-value coins. The 1973 Jefferson 5-cent nickel proves that rarity and value in modern U.S. coinage are often defined by condition, precision, and scarcity, not just age or commemorative status. While not a bicentennial issue in design, its role within a pivotal decade of American history, combined with the extreme rarity of top-grade full steps examples, secures its place among the most valuable modern nickels. For both seasoned numismatists and ambitious newcomers, the finest 1973 Jefferson nickels represent a compelling blend of historical context, technical excellence, and long-term investment potential.